Oh, we're live. It's Tuesday morning, and I'm here for you. It takes a team. Let's go old school WDEX on a Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning. I got to tell you, it is an icy, chilly, cold morning. Yes, I'm still here in Angola, Indiana. And I just want to tell you guys how excited I am to have you this morning, to have you this last day here. I know it said Florida, but I'm here and I just wanted to go old school because it was kind of icy and it was kind of chilly and it was kind of like spooky. Let's get ready to have some fun. So, anyways, listen, yesterday was epic. Was just totally epic. Yesterday was epic because I got to talk to you about my Detroit Lions, the victory, and the fact that I'm going to San Francisco to celebrate the Lions' victory this last Sunday, and take on the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, it's on. It's happening. And I'm going to be there with my wife, my children, and my family. And Kara and Bryson are coming with me. I can't lose my lucky charm. And Bryson wants to tag along. He's a great dude. So come on now, Bryson. You can be a Lions fan. So listen, here's what's going on. It takes a team. Now, we talked about this yesterday. We had a good time with this yesterday. And we talked about in Matthew 9:37-38, he said to his disciples, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. And we spent some time on this idea of what it takes for a team and what a leader does to create a team, and that what a harvest means is that we're supposed to go out as a team and we're supposed to harvest. We're supposed to share the gospel. We're supposed to share the glory of the team. Whatever it is, we're supposed to go out into the field, into the masses. And we used the Detroit Lions as a metaphor of the field. We were at the Detroit Lions Stadium. It was a field, right? It was a field. And I showed all kinds of pictures of people. Look at this is a field. Literally, if it was a field that you were planting wheat in, that's how much wheat, there's lots of people, there's lots of wheat. Like this, the field, the harvest is plentiful. Look at the harvest there. Look at the harvest of wheat. But if you don't have anybody to pick the wheat, the workers are few. And so we did the metaphor of the football stadium being so full of literally people to harvest for the word of the Lord, but the workers are so few. And then we paralleled with all of these people that could be harvested for the word of God were only being served by the few. Some 100,000 people were there. We're going to talk about Moses here in a little bit later, but I want you to understand some 100,000 people at that stadium, and only few, literally 4 or 5 Detroit Lions were on the center of the field praying. So when you think about harvesting the field and the workers are few, as what Jesus says in Matthew, this is the symbology of that I wanted to give you. I wanted to show you that our work is plenty because the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. And so I want to just kind of double down on this idea, team, this day, this Tuesday. I want to double down. I see you out there, guys. Thank you for jumping on. This is an awesome. It's a great topic, how to build a team, be a team, all the things that are going with the team. And since it's Tuesday, I kind of want to keep this thing alive where we do kind of the family feud idea, where we take a topic and actually throw it into AI and ask it, family feud. Give me 3 categories of family feud topics that would deal with team. Top 100 surveyed people answer, and then it spits out the question, and then the top 5 or 6 or 10 votes that would have been in that category for the family feud. And then there's a little disclaimer. This could not be exactly what was on Family Feud, but it's close and all that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to have some fun. And so I typed it in there. Family Feud questions, top 3 questions of team-oriented questions on the Family Feud. Now, we're not going to go through all the answers today. We're just going to kind of set this up for this study on how we're building a team and how God has looked at us and called us to build a team. All right, so number 1 topic out there, question out there that AI gave us a Family Feud of name a team top 10 list, and it gave me name a popular sports team. So I want you to think about it. It gave me several sports teams from least popular to most popular as a survey of 100 people were taken. And what do you think the number, I'm going to start with number 6. The number 6 most popular sports team mentioned. Number 6. Anybody? Number 6. New England Patriots. Can't even say the name right. New England Patriots. Don't even want to talk about them. Belichick's gone. Brady's gone. They gone. Come on now. That's a cycle of leadership and whatever's going on in the crazy, crazy world. Number 5. What do you think the number 5 most popular team named in 100 people surveyed? Number 5, Los Angeles Lakers. Now, come on now, somebody. Number 4. Number 4 of the most popular teams named out of 100 surveys in Family Feud. Survey says Dallas Cowboys. Those rascal Dallas Cowboys. Number 3, survey says Chicago Bulls. Who got Chicago Bulls? Come on, someone's got Chicago Bulls. Michael Jordan, the greatest Air Jordan, greatest player to ever play the game in any sport, richest athlete to ever walk the planet. Just read an article about him worth like $1.5 billion in his whole shoe brand. Air Jordan, phenomenal story. Chicago Bulls are famous because of him. They made number 3. Number 2, most popular teams of all time. Survey says New York Yankees. Who would have ever guessed? New York Yankees, of course, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of legend, whatever. And number 1, most top popular sport team of all time. Survey says Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions. Detroit Lions. Come on, Family Feud people, you know it. Thank you, Steve Harvey, for phoning that one in. We know the most popular team of all time is the Detroit Lions. Making teams today, it takes a team. Some of you are saying the fix is in. I can hear you. You just go get your own damn AI and type in the stuff, and it'll spit out exactly the same answer. Just try it. Detroit Lions, number 1 sports team of all time, surpassed Dallas Cowboys, Chicago Bulls, New York Yankees. Number 1, Detroit Lions. Just saying, baby. Just saying. That's how the ball bounces. Now, come on. Win the NFC Championship. San Francisco, we're going to be there. Number 2 question I threw in there. Name a type of team. The types of teams, the most popular teams of all time, the type of teams. For instance, what type of team? There's categories of teams that we think about in society, like a football team or something like that. So number 6, most popular team out of 100 people surveyed in America. Number 6, dance team. Look at the dance team. Oh, yeah. Dance team. Number 6 of all time. Get it. Jiggy. Dance team. Number 6. Number 5 all time. Cheerleader for the cheerleaders. Number 4, survey says of names of teams that are out of 100 surveyed in America, type of team, police. Number 4 on the list, police. So we got dance, we got cheerleaders, we got police. And number 3 of the top 100 types of teams in America out of 100 surveys, survey says firefighters. Oh, I like that one. Firefighters. Firefighters. I love firefighters. I love the police. I love where this is going. And number 2, the most famous, most prevalent type of team in America out of 100 people surveyed, Family Feud questionnaire through the AI help of the AI for me, Todd, AI guy for this silly game. Number 2, type of team of all time, survey says bands. Like rock bands, like the greatest band of all time. Journey, right? Journey, the band, the Rolling Stones, the Who, you name it, U2, you got them all out there. It's amazing. Aerosmith, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. The type of teams, you got cheerleaders, you got dance, you got police, you got firefighters, then you got bands. That's very popular. But the number 1 type of team in America surveyed out of 100 people, number 1 type of band, the type of band, like just a type of different types of teams that you can create, right? Different types of teams. Number 1 team type in America is Detroit Lions. That Detroit Lions, again, that's a type of team in every category. It's a type of football team. It's the number 1 of all time in 2 categories. Unbelievable what we got going on here. Last but not least, come on. It takes a team. I'm not going to drive this into your head. I want you to have fun with this. I want you to understand. Man, it takes a village. It takes a team. You have nothing without a team. And these are 3 questions on America's Family Feud with Steve Harvey. Don't ask Steve about these because he'd probably say he has nothing to do with it. And this is completely AI Family Feud questions. It gave me the 3 questions: most popular sports teams, name the type of team, different types of team, most popular types of teams. And we're on the 3rd one, most famous duo teams, like most famous duo teams. All right. I got my cues up here. Number 6, Abbott and Costello. Abbott and Costello, right? One of the greatest teams of all times, duels. Number 5, Thelma and Louise. Great movie. These 2 chicks were gangsters, shooting them up, driving, wrecking cars. They set the world on fire as chicks in crime and doing time. Number 4, all time, 100 people surveyed. Number 4, 100 people surveyed. Survey says Laverne and Shirley. Surely you know who Laverne and Shirley is. Most famous dual teams of all time. Number 3, survey says top 100. Thank you, Steve Harvey. Survey says Captain Kirk and Spock. Come on now, everybody. Always had trouble with my left hand with the Vulcan. There we go. Can't get that one to work, Vulcan. Survey says top 100 duo teams of all times. Number 2, you got to get this one. You ready? Batman and Robin. Come on, Batman. And last but not least, number 1, survey says top duo team of all time. It takes a team. It takes a village. We're going to talk about your team. We're going to talk about you today. The number 1 team, duo team of all time. Dan Campbell and the GM, Brad, whatever his last name is. The Detroit Lions win again. The Detroit Lions racked up the top position in all 3 top 100 scores for Family Feud. It takes a team. I don't know how they do it. And I got to tell you, all they have to do is beat San Francisco 49ers, and they are in the Super Bowl. All right, we had a lot of fun. It's Tuesday. It's Family Feud Tuesday, and that's what we just did. We did. All right, so yesterday we did Matthew 9:37-38, and we talked about how the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. And we talked about the Detroit Lions, the massive, not as much about the Lions, but it was more about like this, the stadium and all the people there. And I took the metaphor of the stadium, even though it's a stadium for a football field, I paralleled it to the metaphoring of a field of farming seeds, a farming field, right? So you have a field of wheat and you have a field for football players. Both are fields full of something, a lot, something to harvest. The field for farming is out there to harvest a lot of wheat, but the workers are few. The field in the football field has hundreds and thousands of people that need harvest for the Lord, but the workers are few. And yesterday I challenged you to who is your team? What are you sowing? Well, we're not sowing wheat. We're sowing souls, right? We're not sowing wheat. We're sowing souls. We're sowing teams. We're filling our teams. We're building a team. We're reaching out. We are workers to share this gospel, right? To share God's story, to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. Number two, we have to ask ourselves to look for the field. So where is our field? It's not the wheat field. It's the stadiums. It's the world. It's the sidewalks. It's the city. It's everybody around us, right? So where is that game? That game is out there in front of us. Our field is out there in front of us. And last but not least, who is even playing in this game? Who are the workers in your story? Well, number one, you need to be the worker, right? If we're short of workers, we got to start with you. We're going to start with me. We got to get this thing going. We've got to be one of the workers. And then we need to create a team to go out there and spread the good news, to pick the harvest, to pick the apples, to pick the wheat, to share the gospel, to hopefully share the message to the souls and to the people, to harvest the field, right? The workers are few, right? But the harvest is plentiful, right? So today I just wanted to kind of double down on it. It takes a team. Takes a team. And I listen to John Maxwell a lot, and I study him a lot. John MacArthur, I do a lot with him as well. And I have a lot of people I follow and read and I study for these shows. And I just want you to know how important it is for you to understand how important it is to me that I do a good job for you, right? My name is Todd Saylor. I'm the author of the book, The Brand and the Attitudinal Disorder Wired Differently. And my job is to love you. My job is to encourage you. My job is to motivate you, inspire you, right? But most of all, my job as a coach is to make you better. And how I make you better is by focusing on 3 disciplines to grow you personally, to grow you spiritually, and to grow you profitably. And sometimes profitably more than likely means fruitfully. What is it that you want? What is it that you want profit in? Relationships, money, bank account, wealth, assets, cars? I don't know what it is. But at the end of the day, I want you to understand it's important that I grow you personally and spiritually before you can ever see profit. So that's what we're working on. And Wired Differently is a mindset, a mission, a ministry, and a movement. And you're going to find that over the next several weeks, as Chris and I build this website called wireddifferently.com, you can go there now. It's a little wonky, but it's really cool. We're putting together a whole clothing brand, right? We're putting a whole website to shop, to give to the mindset, mission, movement, and ministry to help some of you that don't really necessarily want to be buying, $30,000 coaching packages and don't want to do certain things other than buying a few books here. But we've got an amazing apparel, Wired Differently Christian apparel line coming that's going to be second to none. We're already in the top 50 of the hunt, the SEO process of clothing. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a lot of work to do on it, but we're counting on you to shop, to sponsor Wired Differently, and to move us through and have some really great, cool Christian apparel. I mean, stuff that you're going to want to wear because it's going to jump out and say, hey, I'm part of this team that God's put together. I'm part of the harvest. I am part of that process in that program. And so let's just get to this teaching a little bit, and we can move on down the road and have some fun here and get out here and practice what we're teaching and learning and preaching here. And I just want to go through this. It takes a team. Numbers 11:14 Numbers 11:14. I'm not able to bear all those people alone, Moses said to God, because the burden is too heavy. I'm not capable of bearing those people all alone. I'm not able to bear all those people alone because the burden is too heavy. It's funny because this passage in Numbers talks about a leader, Moses, who was taking some 600,000 people out of Egypt. And they had no real clear direction, but they were going to the promised land. God had told Moses to pick everybody up, get them out of Egypt, and get them to the promised land. And they took on for a long, long trek. And it was done out of faith. It was done out of leadership by Moses. But this trek got tiresome and burdensome and scary, and I'm sure people died, and there was things on this trek, but the greater good was at foot, because God had challenged them to follow Moses through this process. And they listened to Moses, but at some certain point, Moses is in a situation and he didn't have the help he needed. He had one guy for some 600,000 people. And he's at his wits. He's done. He doesn't know how to handle it. He says, I've been doing this for almost a year now, or maybe even a year long, and I can't keep these people happy. They need food. They're crying. The babies are weeping. They're having babies. Can you imagine the horror of 600,000 people trekking with no real there was no suitcases, there was no real place to carry water, there was no refrigeration, there was no room and board, there wasn't a Holiday Inn, there wasn't a Wingate, there wasn't a Tom's Donut, there was nowhere to stop. They were on the run, they were afoot, and there was nothing to ever do but live off the land and live off of God's protection. And that's what God had in mind for this. But they were complainers. They complained the whole time. Why did you do this? Why did you do this? Why is it this way? And the only person they could come back at and complain and turn against was Moses, because Moses is who they listened to. And finally, Moses has had enough, and he says, I'm not able to bear all those people alone, God, because the burden is too heavy. Isn't that interesting, though? Right? That yesterday we talked about Matthew 9:37 through 38, and Jesus was healing. This is some 600-700 years later. Jesus has finally came. He's the Messiah. He's proven he's the Messiah. He's healing people hand over fist, hand over fist, hand over fist, people. He's healing them. He's healing them. And we showed this image right here, where this idea where people were coming to see Jesus, just lines and lines of people. And as every time he healed, when more people came, and finally he's just like, man, the harvest is plentiful, but the workers are few. He needed to figure out how to spread the gift of miracles to his disciples, and he did that. Flip that over some 700 years prior in Numbers 11:14. I'm not able to bear all those people alone because the burden is too heavy. This is Moses asking God, please, man, what are you doing to me? What are you doing to these people? How am I supposed to make this thing work? How is this going to all come together? This burden is too much for me. And the beautiful thing about God is that he listens. I don't think he was happy with all the whining. But here's what he did. I'm just going to read this because it's amazing. Numbers 11:14. They were complaining. Let's just start right here. Now Moses heard the people weeping throughout their families, every man at a doorway of his tent, and the anger of the Lord blazed hotly. Moses regarded their behavior as evil. But so anyways, Moses said to the Lord, why have you been so hard on your servant? Asking why God is being so hard on Moses with all these people complaining to him and crying and creating so much stress. Can you imagine? And why have I not found favor in your sight? God, what do I need to do to make you happy? That you've placed the burden of all these people on me. You ever felt that way? Certainly not 600,000, but I got to tell you, I've had several conversations just this morning about the burden I felt and other people felt. Was it I who conceived all these people? Was it I who brought them forth? That you should say to me, carry them in your arms, and nurses carry them, the nursing infants to the land which you swore to their fathers? That's not, Moses said, I didn't commit to all that. You did that, God. Why are you laying this all on me? I've been there, right? Where am I to get meat to give to all these people? For they weep before me and say, give us meat. I've said that 100 times, so that we may eat meat. Here we go. At 14, he finally says, I don't have meat. I don't have the shoulders for this. I don't know how I'm going to do this. This is your problem, God. You're the one promised all this, and you put it before me. He says, verse 14, he says these famous words, I am not able to carry all these people alone, because the burden is too heavy for me. If you're going to do this, deal with me, please kill me at once if I have found favor in your sight, and do not let me see any more of my wretchedness. He's had it. Take me, God. I want you to love me. I can't do enough. I can't get you to please me. I can't make these people happy. Just take me. I don't know where to go. You've got to help me. And here's what God does. In the last 5 minutes, God says, I hear you. I hear you. Here we go. According to the Lord said to Moses, gather for me, the Lord says, gather for me 70 men from among the elders of Israel, whom you know to be the elders of the people and their officers. Bring them to the tent of the meeting, the tabernacle, and let them stand there with you. Now, here's this. This is the biggest teaching moment to take you out for tomorrow. Then I will come down. God says, I will literally come down and speak with you there. And I will take away some of the spirit who is upon you, and I will put it upon them. And they shall bear the burden of the people with you, so that you will not have to bear it all alone. Say to the people, consecrate yourself for tomorrow, and you shall eat meat, for you have wept. So let me just bring this home for you. And I want to bring this as a teaching moment to you, even if you don't even understand if you're really a Christ follower or not. And I want you to know that I do care about you, and I do love you, and I do want you to learn from this. Here is what God did. He put this almost plague upon Moses to move 600,000 people out of Egypt. He didn't write it down a plan. He said, just believe in me and go. And they did it. Well, it wasn't going very well, and they finally pushed back and said, we don't have meat. Our babies are crying. What are you going to do, Moses? What are you going to do, Moses? You talked us into this. You said God was behind this, and nothing's there. And finally, Moses throws up his hands and says, God, I can't do this. Take me now, because I want you to love me. I want you to be happy with me, but I am not delivering. This was your problem. Man, what? You gave it to me. This was your problem, and you're giving it to me, and now they hate me. Lord, what can I do? And here's what it says. It takes a team. And this is what I think God wants us to hear from this entire message. Some 700-800 years ago, think about the lineage of this whole message is that no leader is successful without a team. Maybe Moses waited too long to ask. Maybe he just waited too long to be subjugated to somebody above him. Maybe he should have said, listen, God, I can't carry this burden a lot sooner, because as soon as he asked for the burden to be lifted, God said, come on now, man. Didn't you read Moses for Dummies? You have 600,000 people. The span of management is 1 to 600,000. That ratio is way off. I can't tell you that 70 is better, but he says, come on, brother, go out there and pick 70 elders, pick 70 leaders, bring them into the tent, and I'm going to come down from heaven. I'm going to lay hands. I'm going to speak on them. I'm going to breathe the ruah, the Spirit of God, into them. And I'm going to take some of this spirit from you, and I'm going to pour it on them, and then they will help carry the burden with and for you. And that's what God did. The burden was lifted, and the trek continued. But the last teaching point I want to give to you this before we sign off here on this amazing morning. Good. I love seeing everybody out there. It's awesome. Thank you so much for everything. Is that I want you to understand the final little message that we got here from this. Is that God didn't just say, bring me 70, and then I will bless them for you. He said, bring me 70, and I will take a piece of you and lay it on them. A piece of Moses, a piece of the anointment, a piece of the Holy Spirit. We as leaders are called to develop people in our own leadership ilk. We want our traits to be passed on to them. And God shares that with us in this teaching today, is that you should be training up people all the time. It takes a team. And the thing I want you to think about most importantly that God is sharing with us as a leadership moment is that you are called to share the spirit of your leadership. Your company, your organization, your family, everything that you're leading should be of you, through you, so that it is of your spirit, right? And if you're a wired differently leader, then that spirit is of God. And the leaders in my organizations and the leaders of all the organizations I'm leaning over, I want them to take my leadership moments, pieces of me, and make that better beneath me. We shouldn't be afraid, because God made some of those leaders literally speak into all the masses of people. Two of them literally sat down and started speaking to them as if they were God and with God. And Moses wasn't even shied away. He was grateful that they were as good or greater than him at those tasks, because God had helped them create a team to grow their team, a team to grow the legend of Moses and the Israel people. Now, come on, somebody. This is some really good learning here, and I want to take you all the way through this process of building a team. So let's have some fun the rest of this week. I will see you on Wednesday. Think about it. It takes a team. The harvest is plentiful. Why should I handle this burden all alone? God will deliver you. Just ask him for leaders to help in your own image. Have a great day, everybody.